Today we celebrate the Dalai Lama as he turns 80, and in an extended interview we ask about his hopes and fears for the future of Tibet, his thoughts on China, on international terrorism, and what it means to live with compassion in the 21st century. Do you feel the same leader that you were when you started out? Are you a different man?
Myself. Now, firstly, big difference of age. And then when I left, you see, Tibet, there's a lot of hair here. Now much less. Of course, you see, I think I may say, so sometimes people say, time is money, money is time. So similarly, I think I want to say, time is the experience. Experience also, you see, like time. So time passes. And particularly, difficult time, difficult period, that's the best period to gain more experience. So I can definitely say, now, today's this person, I think more experience than at the time of 1959 or early 60.
From the very early years, you were recognised as the Dalai Lama at the age of 2. Do you carry any memories of those early years of your childhood?
Yes. I think as you said, the usual way, you see, when very young, you see, some experience of frightening or some experience of uncomfortable. Those events remember more clearly. One I know, I remember, you see, my cousin, monk, you see, who carry a lot of prayer, some text book. And so then I not yet, cannot stand, go like this. So I approached to him. Then his prayer books, you see, some way is troubled. So he lost his temper, and the cash caught me, and then he's here, like that. That I still remember.
And you got the prayer book.
Like that. That I remember. That I think one strange thing. I remember then, you see, of course, our village, no toilet, proper toilet, just open toilet. So I went, I think the hard work. So while I sort of sit like that, huge camel, black camel, approaching towards me. Still, I remember, you see, that color of that camel and the size of that camel. Then I immediately run away. My bowel business is stopped. Disturbed. That I remember.
The camel?
Huge camel. At my place, because, you see, quite close with Mongolia, so a lot of camels there. I said, that particular day, you see, huge, one more, you see, although normal color, then the head and this side, black.
And you have said that you may be the last Dalai Lama. Explain that thought to us and any sense you have of your past lives, past beings.
Now we are 21st century. So see, these actually Lama institution, frankly speaking, developed during feudal system. So society changed, have to change. So some of these institutions, some sort of influence the existing society sort of system. Now that outdated. Therefore, as early as 1669, I publicly, officially, I announced the very institution of Dalai Lama should continue or not up to Tibetan people. If majority of Tibetan people at the time of my death feel now this century-old institution not much relevant, then automatically cease. And then my sort of basic sort of belief, world belongs to 7 billion human beings. And each nation belongs to the people. With respect, if may I say so, Great Britain belongs to the people, not the royal family. In Japan also I mentioned that.
Do you think it's time to end the royal family as well?
No, that is your business. I think so long, you see, you feel that is some kind of unique symbol, then okay, no problem. But you practice fully democratic system. So that's quite sort of, I think, a quite realistic approach. So in any way, like Tibet case then, or sometimes in America, I expressing publicly, America belongs to 300 millions of American people, not a Republican Party or Democratic Party. These parties are serving to the people, not the ruler of the country.
So let's talk about...
So me now. So Dalai Lama, so therefore, the Tibetan should govern by Tibetan people, by Tibetan. So the proper way is the democratic system. People choose their leader. And so long people's confidence there, they can carry. Once that sort of confidence no longer, then change. That's a very good system. So therefore, 2001, I already started, you see, elected political leadership. Then my position is semi-retired position. Then 2011, now I totally retired.
Do you think Tibet will ever be an independent country in your lifetime?
Now that, we have to think realistically, what's the real benefit to our people? I always admire the spirit of European Union. Member state, for example, France and Germany, in the past, quite also often fighting each other. One my great sort of friend, actually I consider my tutor of quantum physics, von Weizsäcker, and David Bohm. You see, I learned something about quantum physics from these two physicists. So he once told me, when he was young, every German eye, French is their enemy. Similarly, French eye, German is their enemy. We are talking in 1990, in 90s. So then he told me, now that kind of attitude completely changed. So European Union, you see, develop. So common interest is more important than individual sovereignty or something like that. So therefore, we are a separate nation. But you see, for common interest, China, economically, you see, rapidly is developing, very good. So, Chinese also human being, we also human being. You see, too much emphasis, Tibetan and Chinese sort of differences. You see, again, you see, I think we have to think same human being, same right. In modern time, the concept of one-side victory, one-side defeat is unrealistic.
So you think that...
So therefore, since 1974, we publicly, sort of officially announced we are not seeking independence. we are very much willing remain within the People's Republic of China, provided they should respect Tibetan culture, Tibetan unique language, and Tibetan environment.
Do you think now China is doing more good than harm for Tibet?
That may be too early to say, but you see, there is possibility now going that direction. Preservation of Tibetan culture, Tibetan rich Buddhist tradition, and environment is a mutual benefit. Now more and more Chinese leaders, particularly now present leaders, seems to be more realistic, look more wider perspective. I think unlike the previous leader, they just used to think that way. Now this person is in more wider sort of perspective. So we'll see.
You said...
But definite answer, you see, totalitarian countries sometimes is unpredictable. So difficult to say definite. But there is some signs of hope.
You said at one stage that the CIA funded the Free Tibet movement. You thought to fight communism through you. Did you ever feel that Tibet was being used by the West to take on China?
At that time, you see, some kind of American sort of policy contended China. So they use sort of opportunity, like Vietnam case and Tibetan case, and Korea, of course, Korean War, in order to stop the communist sort of expansion. Then the South Korea saved, and Vietnam failed. Tibet case also, although you see, at that time, you see, my elder brother, Gyalo Chandru, you see, involved the CIA, these things. He top secret. He even, you see, not sort of telling detail. Broadly, I know, but he not telling all these sort of secret things. Sometimes we also used to have some disagreement like that. Then I think 1972, when Kissinger visited Peking, and then Nixon visited, then everything was changed.
The Free Tibet movement has become very fashionable. It's attracted Hollywood, the Richard Geres. You've been welcomed at Glastonbury. What do you think is the appeal, particularly of this cause?
This Buddhist tradition, the Buddha stated, "Oh, my follower should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So that's a very similar scientific way, not relying on Buddha's own quotation, but investigate. Therefore, we also developed genuine interest about science. And many scientists also now showing interest about Buddhist psychology or science of mind. So it's a number of reasons we see people who showing interest about Tibet, not just a political reason. Then some people, of course, it's a political reason also is there. But mainly, I think Tibetan culture, rich Buddhist tradition.
I want to talk about faith.
And then I think, if may I say so, this is of course a little bit silly. I think many people showing interest because my smile.
I want to talk about faith and science with you a bit further, but you have also been met on this trip by protesters, those who say that the rights of Shugden Buddhists have been banned in Tibet. Can you explain your response to Shugden Buddhism and why they appear to feel outlawed by you and your teachings?
It is my duty to tell what is the reality. Whether listen or not, up to individual. So these people, you see, they do not know the whole sort of story. And recently I was in Australia. This is some Shungden group. This is some protest. They stop lying. So including some young boy wear monk's robe and shouting. I really felt it's a pity. They do not know what was the 4 centuries sort of history and the recent history. I think these people should visit Tibet and then further investigate what really effect, you see, due to worship this spirit. Much sectarian conflict, like that.
I want to talk about conflict and religion. You referred to the work of ISIS as unthinkable. Does Buddhism have a practical response to ISIS, to international terrorism, to violence done in the name of religion?
I want to express, you see, there recently some in Tunisia. Now, this morning I saw some newspaper, some pictures, some of these victims. That's, I think, a thing which we 7 billion human beings should take seriously. How to reduce these things, how to build a peaceful century, harmonious century. That ultimately depends on compassion, sense of concern for their life, sense of concern for their happiness, and that respect their right. Once that develops, irrespective whether believer or non-believer, once you see that through education, through awareness, once we develop that, then these unhappy sort of, instance or these things. That
Do you ever have dark moments when you look at what's happening around the world, in Tunisia, in Syria, in Iraq, and you think the world is not getting better? There isn't compassion. I'm speaking to myself. That is not working.
When I saw a picture ready to behead with some kind of mosque. So that indicates they themselves, you see, realize there's something wrong. If they truly believe this is right, then must show their face proudly. They're doing something. At the same time, they cover their face. I don't think that's right. So I think education, awareness, what's really helping for their cause through that kind of violence. And even, you see, the great nations, I think American policy regarding Iraq, eliminate Hussein, motivation is good. The object or goal is good, to bring democracy in Iraq, but method becomes wrong. So now, after a few days, I'm going to meet my longtime friend, Mr. Bush. So as a human being, I love him. Very good on human level. His policy matter is concerned, but sometimes it's difficult. So after the Iraq crisis happened, my meeting with President Bush, then I told him, I love you, I respect you, but some of your policy is concerned, I have some great sort of reservation. I told him, he laughing like that. Now the beginning of next, after a few days, I'm going to him.
Do you think politicians do good? Do you think politicians do good? A lot of people don't trust politicians now.
That also is politics. Also is a part of human activities, and particularly related with community, related with the country. Then politics must carry with inner value, compassionate value. Then politics can be transparent. That brings trust. Politics is part of human sorrow, also the profession. And any human sort of profession, any human activities, including preaching, teaching, carry out of negative emotion. Teaching also bad, dirty teaching, dirty religion. So politics also, you see, so long the politician's mind not very transparent or transparent and something self-centered interest, then politics also become dirty politics.
And you've talked about science and faith, and I think written in the past that if science were to prove certain Buddhist claims wrong, it would be impossible to carry on believing them. Richard Dawkins said the danger of Islam, Christianity, Judaism is the unthinking reliance on faith. As somebody who appreciates the sciences, do you support that?
One Indian, my friend, physicist, nuclear physicist, so once he told me, in the West, quantum physics is something new. In India, over 2,000 years, that concept already there. He told me.
Well,
so therefore, you see, as my sort of contact with scientists, now first casualty is now I am no longer believe existence of Mount Meru. Mount Meru, world flat, and Mount Meru in the center, and the sun and moon go like that. Now I am no longer sort of believe that. So many Tibetans believe that. What is the story? When Apollo land on moon, when some picture appears, then I show to some Tibetan scholar. Look, now this is moon, some rocky area, some rock, just moon. Then that monk, that scholar, he respond me, oh, that may be part of Mount Meru.
But there are areas now
So no problem.
where faith and science are creating new possibilities or new difficulties. Dying with dignity, this is a very current controversy in our world now. Should people have the right to assist their loved ones to die when they are suffering terribly?
I think firstly, let me say, the previous Pope, I can't remember the name, I usually call Polish Pope, Italian Pope, then German Pope, now Argentinian Pope. So the German Pope once express reason and faith must go together. So reason means now science. Science and faith can go together. And it is sort of useful that way. I think in the early part of 20th century, I think science and spirituality is something two separate way. Now, with help of quantum physics, mind become more important. And medical science also now say mental peace of mind is very important for physical health. So, these two things, spirituality and science, now come closer, closer, closer. All major religion, same, talking, love, forgiveness, tolerance, contentment. Some say creator, some say no creator. But what is the purpose of these different philosophies? Same, to promote this deeper human value, love, compassion. To some people, use concept of creator, infinite love. We all created by that sort of, that kind of God.
But can it be compassionate to help somebody who's suffering to die with dignity?
Yes, of course. It's a compassion. I think almost after a few weeks of conception, mother's womb, mother's peace of mind is very important for unborn child. Then as soon as birth, affection, love from mother's face or from mother's sort of milk. There's immense sort of the important factor to properly develop their physical, their brain like that. So then, at the end, you see, we must provide maximum affection. Let dying person more peaceful mind. There's people who believe heaven. I think the practice of love, showing love to other, is the best offering to God. God has infinite love.
Love more important than life?
Life depends on love. Life, of course, important. Life definitely not depend on violence. Life entirely depends on love. That I can say.
You've talked about your smile bringing people towards free Tibet. You love to laugh. What are the things that make you laugh? Do you have a favourite joke?
No. I always say, consider myself another just one human being. In the West, or many sort of, I think many cases, you see people mention their own name, their own sort of profession, these things. Then I felt, not necessary to introduce that way, just show the face, human face. That's the best way to introduce yourself.
You hate formality. You hate formality.
Yes, I hate. I really, I said, boring about too much formality. Unnecessary.
So what makes you laugh?
I think laughing, smile is something I think unique about a human being. God give us that sort of special thing. So we have to utilize that. Our unique thing, but still remain like tiger. No use.
Before you go, before we finish, there are fans of Bradford City Football Club who are desperate to know if you are still a supporter, because ever since you gave them your blessing, they've improved their performance. Do you call yourself a Bradford City Football Club supporter?
Football club
Really? Really? I don't know. Really?
They improved after your blessing, so they want to know, they gave you a T-shirt, they want to know if you're still Bradford City Football Club supporter.
Then I think that event, I think, now gives me, myself, some belief about my blessing. I'm very skeptical about, the word of blessing.
No.
I believe action is more important. Blessing is something mysterious things.
Brilliant. Your Holiness, thank you.
So, if they believe due to my blessing, they're more successful, and I feel very, very happy.
Next, here on BBC4, pioneering rhythms and rich vocal harmonies as the blues beat picked up. We're heading back to the birth of rock and roll America for the start of a new series in just a moment.